Hi, welcome to jokonline.com. I'm Faninda Jagana. This session is about the ITIL metrics. We will start with the basic concepts and then we will talk about some popular metrics which is used in the ITIL. We'll start with the basic concepts with the metrics. Metrics is a measurement which gives you the ability to judge or check the performance of your service. If by any chance if the service is not being performed good, that would reflect in the metrics, then you would have some improvement plans to improve your service, and that eventually reflects in the next run metrics. Interfaces is the linkage between two or more process. There would be a process data exchange between two process, so it could be either referred as an input or an output. And this input and output, all the data happens between two process always through a linkage, and that linkages are called as an interfaces. One of a very popular metrics used in the ITIL is RACI metrics. R represents for responsible, where responsible is a person who is actually responsible for getting this work done. A represents for accountable, is a person who is accountable for each task. C represents for a consultant, where it represents these are the people who are consulted to check their opinion on that. Informed is people who is all to just to keep the updated on this as we progress or providing the status of that particular task. Below is one of an example. They prepare that's a project plan, and there is an RACI matrix which has been used to assign the roles and responsibility for each and every stakeholder. So kickoff meeting is responsible or is accountable by a project manager. Travel plan is accountable by a project manager. Knowledge transfer, the information would be provided to a project manager. Conducted lessons learned, project manager would be accounted, but you would also take the consultation of an SDM and the other stakeholders. Sign off of the project would be primary accountable, would be the project manager, but it would be a responsibility of SDM. So based on that, just one point to be noted is each task can have just one stakeholder as an accountable. You cannot really have multiple stakeholders accountable for any specific task. So each task would always have one resource or stakeholder accountable, where for the where it is possible that one record can have multiple responsible or multiple consulted or multiple informed. One of very popular improvement methodologies is plan, do, check, act. It was named as a Deming cycle for improvements. The reason it was named as a Deming cycle because this process is first been introduced or implemented or got into highlighted by Deming. It's a scientist who actually invented this particular cycle for an improvement of a service or any process. Well, you would plan if you see there is any service which has to be improved. If you look at if you remember the very first slide when we are talking about the metrics, where metrics is something you would eventually just always keep running based out of KPIs, what you define for a service. You would always try to find out how you are performing your particular service. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it doing average, or is it doing as expected or below expected? You would come to a conclusion by looking at the metrics data. If something has to be improved, a process of a particular service has to be improved, then this would be the one of a very good methods to improve any service or the process. So you plan and you list out all the activities what had to be done to improve particular service. Then you implement the process, and then you check how that particular service is doing. At the check section, you would again run couple of metrics again to check whether it is really has been improved, or any performance decrease or increase, or it is pretty much the same before and after. So this is an area where you check how that's your particular process is being improved, and then accordingly you act again. So if something is being improved drastically after the implementation of the new improvement plan, or it may not really improve even after implementing the new method or the process, what it is already planned to improve the service. If this doesn't happen, then you act again and you go for the same cycle again. You plan again, you do check, and you act accordingly. One of very important concept in ITIL is capabilities and the resources. Resources are the direct inputs into the production. Example, the financial capital, infrastructure, application, information, people. Capabilities represents an organization ability to coordinate, control, and deploy the resources to produce value. So example, management, organization, process, knowledge, and the people. So in ITIL, people is one particular thing which comes out both in resource as well as in the capabilities. The reason there could be any resources who might have hired, but there could be any specific resources, HR resources, where human resources are being trained to perform a specific task. So there would be one specific task in the organization where only a specific resources could perform those tasks. So that's the reason people has been included in the resources as well as in the capabilities. Thanks for watching this video. Looking forward. See you in the next video.